Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the wild and wonderful Wyoming range. This is a mountain range in western Wyoming that probably haven't heard too much about. It's sort of a more low-key mountain range. It's not like the Tetons or even the Wind River range. This is a spot that I've been to a couple times a year for the past couple years. I really like this area. When I was here last year, I came to this valley, this canyon here, and I noted a couple of things. First, I noted this mountain in front of me. Look at this mountain right here. Look at those little rocky pinnacles up at the summit. I'm intrigued by this mountain, and I want to get a closer look at those rocky pinnacles. And so I think first off today, we're going to go climb this mountain. This is the first of a few things that we're going to be doing in this video. This is day 2 of a 3-day trip. I'm in the RAV4 on this trip, and whenever I bring the RAV4, people always say, what happened to the Land Cruiser? And from the very beginning, when I bought the Land Cruiser, I said the plan was always to keep both cars and to alternate between them on trips. On this particular trip, I'm not doing anything crazy off-road, and so there's no reason for me to have the Land Cruiser. And the reason for this trip is actually that I need to get some work done on the RAV4 in Idaho, and so I'm heading to go do that. I have a mechanic that I like in Idaho, and it's just a good excuse to have a fun adventure along the way. Yesterday was day 1 of this trip, and I fished a couple of creeks in this general area for my fishing channel, which is called Tenkara Addict. If you didn't know, I have a fishing channel with a few hundred fishing videos on it. If you're interested, I do a kind of obscure form of Japanese fly fishing called Tenkara, and so go check that out if you're interested. I'll put a link down below. So that was yesterday. Today we're doing an SUV RVing adventure, and then tomorrow is car stuff. So this is going to be the only video from this particular trip, but I'm excited. It's good to get up into the mountains. The high peaks are still under too much snow to really get up there. But if we do some lower elevation stuff, then we should be mostly clear of snow. The idea here now is to leave the main trail. I've been hiking for, I don't know, 20 minutes or something like that, and to follow a side trail that goes kind of around, that curves around the mountain here. But I can't find the side trail. It may or may not actually exist. So let's do a little bit of bushwhacking, and hopefully I can pick it up somewhere on the other side of the creek. But that means I do have to actually cross the creek first. There's no bridge. It's not a super fast or high creek. Like here, it's maybe 6 inches deep, but I'd prefer to not have to take my shoes off and wade across. There is a sort of log dam bridge over here. Let's go take a closer look at that. Yeah, unfortunately this does not go all the way across. I mean, I could like hop across over here and then go on that log or that downed tree, but I mean that's several feet above the ground, so we are not gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna take my shoes and socks off and cross over here. It's so cold, just frigid. Unpleasant. That was not fun, and it looks like this is actually only just an island. this isn't even the other side of the creek, so I have to cross another little branch of the creek here, and then I'll be on the other side of the creek. By the way, the trailhead is called Cliff Creek Trailhead. This is Cliff Creek right here. And once I get my hiking shoes back on, I'm gonna hook around to the south side of this mountain. The trail, well, if there actually is a trail. Sometimes trails exist on maps and not so much in person. But if I can find the trail, we'll take it just a short distance that way, up this little side canyon. From there, I will leave the established trail and go up the south ridge, like a ridge of this mountain. I couldn't find any information of anyone climbing this mountain, so I'm just kind of guessing here as far as what may work, what may get me to the top, or at least to around the top, but we'll see. I don't know if those rocky pinnacles are the actual top of the mountain. They might be kind of off to the side a little bit. Again, I don't know. This is sort of an exploratory mission. And we'll see what we find. And what I found so far, I think, is the actual trail, such as it is. You can kind of see a trail of sorts here, continuing on over here. Let's follow that and see if it goes where we want it to go. You know, this is one of those adventures that looked great on paper, but now that I'm here, this is gonna be brutal. So the plan is to go up this slope, basically straight up. And you know, it's always hard to tell the steepness of something on camera, but this is very steep. And of course there's no trail, so we're just gonna be making our way up this way. And I've hiked this far, as far as I have, because this part of the ridge is less forested than other parts of the mountain. And so hopefully we won't have to do a ton of intense bushwhacking, but I don't know. We'll see. Holy moly. I knew this was gonna be a pretty amazing place. I wasn't quite prepared for just how amazing the view is from up here in this position. I'm just surrounded by incredible mountains, and I'm sort of in an area where three different epic mountain ranges come together. Let me show you around here. First, let's start off with where I've been today. So at the start of this video, there was some driving footage, and that was me driving in this valley, through this valley over here to the Trailhead, which is right there in the middle. You can see a little bit of dirt road. That's the Trailhead area. And then I hiked through here, around the mountain on this side, staying in the bottom of the valley. I crossed the creek down over here. I followed the side trail through this little side canyon, and then I went up and over the mountain to over here. There's a little potential summit right here. I'm not sure what the highest point of this mountain actually is, and so I'm gonna tag all of them just to be safe. There's one right here. I'll put the footage of me hiking over there, and then I kind of crossed the ridge right here and then scrambled my way up the rocks this way, and then over on this side, I don't know if this piece right here is the summit or if where I am right now is the summit. I think it's this, but I'm not entirely sure. Again, I will go scramble over there just to make sure. And then this mountain range close at hand here is the Wyoming range. That's the mountain range that I'm kind of in right now. These mountains are in the high 10,000 foot range, or mid 10,000 foot range. Beautiful red earth on the mountains over here. I have a video of me climbing the highest mountain in this range. I'll put that down below if you want to check that out. And then this mountain range over here, this is one of the great unsung mountain ranges of the western US. This is called the Gros Ventre range. Those are about 11,000 feet. The highest point in the range is, let's see, is this one right here. And that was actually the original plan for this adventure. I was gonna go climb that mountain, but there's still too much snow on the backside, so not quite ready to do that. And then finally, this mountain range on the horizon, this mountain range over here that you can just barely see, that is the Wind River range. And let's see, the highest mountain in the range is just above this green hill right here. That is called Gannett Peak. That is actually the highest mountain in Wyoming. It's 13,700, I think. High 13,000 foot mountain. I have climbed that. I'll put a link to that down below. The third highest mountain in Wyoming is also over there. It is called Fremont Peak. And so all of these mountains are in the 12 to 13,000 foot range. We can't quite see the Tetons from here. The Tetons are close to Jackson and Jackson Hole. Those are over in this direction. If we were up here in some of these mountains, we'd be able to see the Tetons, but can't quite see them right now. So we are basically where these three mountain ranges meet. The Wyoming range, the Gros Ventre range, and the Wind River range. This region where I am is just unbelievably spectacular and unbelievably wild. To celebrate my success up here, I have a bag of potato chips. I've been dreaming about these all morning, and so I'm really excited to dig into these. But the plan from here on out has changed. I was going to hike another 5 miles up the main canyon out there, up the main valley, to a waterfall called Cliff Creek Falls. Beautiful, like 200-foot waterfall, big waterfall, remote, seldom visited. But when I got to the trailhead this morning, I saw a group of people getting ready to go on a horse packing trip into the backcountry. And when I first got up here to the summit, I looked down at the trail and I could see like 20 or 30 horses on the trail. I'll put some footage here. I recorded it with my phone. I'm not really looking forward to following in the hoof steps of 30 horses on the trail. That does not appeal to me, for obvious reasons of there's going to be just a ton of horse poop on the trail, And then also, it's hard to pass horses. Like, I can probably hike faster than a horse train, a horse caravan, but how do you pass that many horses? And like, you don't want to scare the horses. And so I think we're not going to go to that waterfall today. But I don't really know what else I want to do in this area. So I'm going to eat my potato chips. I'm going to hike back down the mountain. So the hike up here was just brutal. I mean, again, no trail. Well, there were some like animal trails I could follow for short sections, but then they'd peter out, and there's not a real trail up here. This mountain doesn't really even have a name. There's a website called Peak Bagger, where you can look up mountains and people can register their ascents on the mountains and everything. And this mountain was called Peak 8179 because that's just the elevation of this mountain. And so it doesn't even have a real name. It's just referred to by its height. And so, and there were no recorded ascents of this mountain on Peak Bagger. And so this really does not get climbed very often. There's no information about climbing it online. There are certainly no YouTube videos about people climbing this, so this has been a lot of fun. But again, that hike up was just brutal. I think what I'm going to do is hike back to the trailhead, get back in the car, and drive, I don't know, an hour or so over to the Tetons over here. There's something weird that happened in the Tetons about a month ago, and I want to go take a closer look and show you guys too. So let's reconvene yonder in the mountains over there. A few hours later now, I successfully made it off the mountain and back to the car, and I drove through Jackson, Wyoming, saw some great views of the Tetons. I'll put that footage here. And I'm still in the Tetons, actually. I'm just below Teton Pass, which is the highest point on this road right here. I'm parked on a little gravel pullout off to the side of the road. This road connects Jackson, Wyoming to Victor, Idaho. So basically this part of Wyoming to that part of Idaho. And it's a super important road because a lot of people live in Victor and work in Jackson, or vice versa. And so there was a big problem when part of this road fell away about a month ago. Caused a lot of people a lot of problems. It created like a 2.5 hour long detour around the mountains over in that direction. And apparently they like opened up a new section of road, or there's a little detour around the affected section. I don't know. I want to check it out. And so I'm like less than half a mile from the affected spot where there were cracks and things in the road from the landslide. And so I want to fly the drone and go take a look at the detour, see what they did to make a detour around the affected section, and just see what's going on over there. Okay, I'm recording on the drone now, and interesting, you can see how let me adjust the camera angle here. You can see how the little hairpin turn, like the outside of the hairpin turn, is a different color, because that's where the landslide was, and it's been repaved. I thought that they had made a new detour around it, but that's really neat. Huh. Took a couple weeks to get that done, and this was big news in Wyoming. We heard quite a bit about this. Huh. Okay, now let's turn around. Let's give you guys a view of the mountains here. The Idaho state line is over in this direction. And then as we turn around, we'll look back up toward Teton Pass, which is the highest part of this road. You can't really see the core group of the Tetons here, like Grand Teton, Middle Teton, South Teton. You can't see those from this part of the Tetons. But here's looking back up the road toward Jackson and beyond. Okay, well, good to know. I was curious. My curiosity is satiated, is satisfied. Let's land the drone and go find a campsite. Not at all a bad place to call home for the night. I've been here for a couple hours already, just kind of resting. Big campsite. I'm taking up just, you know, one little corner of it, but it's not very flat. I'm basically on the only flat ground here. It slopes down. I'm kind of on the side of the canyon here, but works for me. This is a great time of year to be exploring the mountains. It's so pretty. It's very green. There's still snow up on the highest peaks. It's just beautiful. But early summer is also when the mosquitoes are the worst, and just bugs in general. At this campsite, there aren't too many mosquitoes, but there are a lot of flies. So you want to avoid camping near water if you can in early summer, and even like into midsummer. If you want to just avoid mosquitoes completely, you're looking at like late August and into September. In this canyon specifically, which is called Darby Canyon, by the way, I'm in Wyoming, I'm in the Tetons, but I'm on the west side of the Tetons, so basically the Idaho side. Even though this is technically Wyoming, you have to go through Idaho to get here unless you hike over the mountains from Jackson. Anyway, there are campsites in this canyon closer to the creek, but it's just mosquito land over there, like so many mosquitoes. It's a little bit drier here, so we're good. And I've just been hanging out in the car and relaxing, and you know, it's been a relatively straightforward day. I just climbed a mountain, and then I drove here, but I feel like there was a lot involved in that. It was a long day, it was a good day. I don't know if I would have had the time or the energy, frankly, to hike the extra 5 miles out and back, so 10 extra miles to go to that waterfall. But I am a little bit disappointed that I didn't go to that waterfall. I've been wanting to go there for a while, and we'll have to come back. Here, or there, I guess. Here, I mean, this part of Wyoming, western Wyoming, is just unbelievable. You've got the Wind River Range, the Gros Ventres, the Wyoming Range, the Tetons. You go further north, you get into the Absaroka Mountains, and it's just incredible country, wild country still. I mean, yeah, you go through Jackson and it's awful because there are just trillions of people, but you get into the mountains themselves and it's just heavenly. It is so gorgeous in this part of the country. I absolutely love it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and forgive my hood being up. It keeps the bugs from biting my neck. I also have tucked my pant legs into my socks to keep the flies from flying up there. It's pretty rough out here, but again, beautiful place, beautiful area. I had a great time today. I hope you guys did too. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite part was. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what your experiences have been like in the places that I've traveled through in this video. I'd love to hear any other recommendations you have also. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.